I'd try this a new way. I'm gonna show you the tricks that I know. I'm getting tired of talking, and I need more of a show right now. It's time that you made your mind up, 'cause lately all it ever does is change. Feels like we're only talking, going round and around, back around. I will fight like no other every day. I won't stop like the others. I will stay. 'Cause now is the right time, and I'm feeling alright. I'm playing your game like I know I can win right now. You got me up tonight, 'cause loving you is like I'm walking a tightrope so high. I won't be turning around, no, I won't be turning around. It's the right time, I'm feeling alright. I'm playing your game like I will win tonight. I think I'll do it on my way. I'm gonna show you what I'm going through, get you out of your comfort zone, 'cause I need more of the truth right now. It's time that you made your mind up, 'cause lately all it ever does is change. Feels like we're only talking, going round and around, back around. I will fight like no other every day. I won't stop like the others. I will stay. 'Cause now is the right time, and I'm feeling alright. I'm playing your game like I know I can win right now. You got me up tonight, 'cause loving you is like I'm walking a tightrope so high. I won't be turning around, no, I won't be turning around. It's the right time, I'm feeling alright. I'm playing your game like I will win tonight. Don't forget it, don't forget it, don't forget it. We'll turn this around. Don't forget it, don't forget it, don't forget it. We'll turn this around.
Hey everyone, I actually just checked my microphone there, that's hilarious. Welcome to the Drone Show on Geeksvana Live. It's really great to see you all. Thank you so much for coming in this evening. Nice to see everyone in the chat here, some early people. Philip Koshat, good to see you, sir. Brian Forward, hello, sir. Serenity Drones, Max Air 420. Really appreciate everybody coming in. Rob S, good to see you, sir. And Mappers too, good to see you as well, Seth. Enjoyed the pre-show on Spin Up. Yes, thank you very much. That was a very exciting time. For those of you who weren't here, you can go watch the replay. And for those of you that were, thank you so much for joining me on Saturday for the Spin Up 2020 pre-show. It was an awful lot of fun, if a little bit stressful at times. And a big shout out to my other half, Joanne, who proved that she exists. If Lib actually went back and watched the replay, because of course she was our multimedia, our socials expert. Although she was only on voiceover, so perhaps it could have been a robot of some type. You never know. I haven't fully proved that she exists yet. What a strange opening to a show. And Lib just asked me how much I had to pay her. That's a bit rude. Okay. Tonight we have a special guest. We have Ian from Mads Tech, which is I'm going to let Ian describe his channel because it's a fantastic channel based on techs, has a bit of drones in there, has a bit of all sorts in there, but it's very unique. One thing I hear a lot from the tech and drone community is how many similar channels there are out there, and Ian certainly runs something which is very unique and something which I enjoy. We're also going to be chatting with Ian about the changing regulations which are due to come up in December, switching over to the ASA regulations. And later on we've got a bit of drone news. We've got Philip Koshat is going to be blowing some stuff up. Yes, you heard that right. As well as a bit more information on a few new things coming out on the channel as well. Also, after the show, we're going to be having a members meetup, our monthly members meetup. So the Zoom link will go into the community tab, which members will be able to find. And again, members, you can see them in the chat there with the green name and the little icon after them. Hit the join button below on your device to find out more about becoming a member, get custom emojis, lots of behind the scenes stuff. I'm going to talk about that later as well. So without further ado, I'm going to bring in my wonderful co-host, Lib. She paid me to say that. And our guest, Ian. Hi guys, how are you?
Hey.
Hello.
That was one of my most sort of meandering opening statements that I think I've ever done, going from introducing the guest channel as something unusual through to questioning whether my own girlfriend's real.
Yeah,
See,
To be fair, though,
be done.
bringing me in with Lib, it's, there's no competition there, is there really? So it's, yeah.
At least you know what you're talking about, mate.
And of course we have one more exciting bit here, that of course we are outnumbered in the England side of things now.
Yes.
It's no longer 50-50, or we have normally England, Wales, and usually an American guest. We have a Welsh guest.
We are. Yes, we're on force tonight. So the
Which
And
is
it's tough.
fantastic. We continued the debate off air about how you pronounce the word tooth, which of course all of us, how do I describe us? Normal people would call it tooth, and whereas Lib pronounces it as
Tough.
excuse me.
tough.
It's my
Tough.
tough.
And now Ian, as a fellow Welsh resident, how would you pronounce it?
Well, you set me up earlier, Sean, because you made me think about it. Now, if I was to just say, well, my tooth's hurting, that would probably be a more realistic way that I would say it. So.
See, now this is some kind of Welsh mafia or something. I'm sorry, I'm not calling it out, but it is, because previously Ian did say tooth, and I had a little dance around the studio because I felt like
It did.
I had won the first point against Lib that I've ever won, frankly.
Yeah.
I think if you're going to make someone say it, you have to just do it off the cuff. If you make someone think about it too much, that's the problem.
Yeah.
Isn't
Yes,
it?
well, what can I say? I'm slightly disappointed that you decided to go against me, but that's fine. I understand. You Welsh people have to stick together.
Well, we've got to stick together at the moment.
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
not a lot going right in the world,
No,
so
there's not much going for us.
Indeed.
Just
And
let us
hey,
have that.
I suppose there are too many focuses on borders these days, and we're all family here in the UK, of course.
Yes,
and,
that's
and I
right.
did used to spend many a week, a summer's week, lads' holidays when I was younger, in Wales. So I've even helped the economy along a little bit.
Well, there always was the irony that it was free to leave, but you had to pay to get in, even as
Yes.
a Welshman.
Yeah.
And now that's actually gone. But and if I
No.
think is it. Oh, what's the town just above Wales that they're allowed to shoot a Welshman after midnight once a year with a bow and arrow? I'm trying to make there's an old rule in
It's the real thingy, isn't it? What's that movie? The Purge. Is it The Purge?
Yeah, something like
Yes.
that, isn't it?
It's the real version of that.
Yeah, I can't remember. It's one of the towns right at the top in the expensive part of Wales. And
Isn't that called England?
Yes. It's across the border from Wales.
So I had no idea that this would become a Welsh bashing stream. I'm waiting for all the Welsh people to give me very harsh comments when they.
Yeah, don't worry. We'll send the boys round.
Yeah,
if you've ever seen sheep in khaki, you won't sleep at night again.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
You're not going to have an easy ride.
That sounds very strange. Max Air 420, thanks for the shout out on the mic. I did actually turn it down a little bit earlier as I thought it would match more, but I've cranked that back up, so hopefully you can all hear us.
Hereford, yes, it is. I've seen the chat. It's Hereford. You're allowed to shoot. You're allowed to shoot a Welshman. I think it's once a year with a bow and arrow after midnight or something.
That's nuts.
Although, of course, we wouldn't recommend it. Well,
No. Please don't.
If you do shoot them, make sure they can't get back up and run after you. That's all I would say. Be a good aim.
Well, how we ended up here, I'm not sure. It's one of those places
Yeah.
you end up and you think, how did we land here?
Welcome to the Drone Show,
10
where we
minutes in,
talk
it's a new
drones and
record.
tech. Yeah, exactly. So, Ian, you run a couple of channels, but your main channel, which, by the way, congratulations on reaching 14,000 subscribers.
Yes.
So that's absolutely fantastic.
Despite my efforts, it keeps going up. As I was saying to you earlier, it's a weird old thing. I started the channel nearly 6 years ago, I think it was, and it's one of those weird things. I still don't really know why I do it. I'm not going to sit here and say that, there's a plan. If you've watched the channel, you will see there is no plan. That is abundantly clear. But it's something I started, and the whole goal originally really was to try and provide data or information, I should say, that no one else was doing. Now, if I go back 5 years, that was the realm of the Phantom 3 Pro was coming out at that point. That's going back quite a long time in the drone industry. And it was the birth of the ready-to-fly drone. Up until that point, you had to go and buy yourself a frame, a flight controller, and put it together. And it was the birth of the ready-to-fly. Buy a box, throw it in the air. And what I saw happening with that was, up to that point, everyone who was involved, there was a certain level of technical ability, which meant most of the problems they solved as they were going along. But when you hit a situation where people were able to go and spend £1,000, pick up a drone off the shelf and fly it, they didn't have the understanding of how LiPo batteries worked, or the best way to look after them, or how to stop them setting your house on fire. And the basics like that. So the channel was born back then, and if I go back to some of the early videos, they're very much based on DJI products, because that was the product of the time. It was about showing people how to look after their batteries. It's funny, there's a battery video which still stands today. It's got all the information in it. It's the same today. It was 5 years old now, and I look back and think, wow, a lot of this stuff has just been rehashed and put out and talked time and time again. And it sort of evolved from there, really. And I didn't go down the road of the traditional drone channel. You've got some amazing channels out there. There's a lot of guys doing amazing stuff. I always try to stay on the technical side of it, because that's where my expertise is. And don't get me wrong, I fly them, but I'm an engineer by trade. What I try to do is explain things in a simple manner. I'm not sure I achieve it, but that's what the goal is.
I think you do.
I was just going to say the same.
Yeah, and I think one of the things I enjoy about your channel as well is that sometimes you'll go live, or it'll be a video on this is broken, I'm going to fix it. And I really enjoy that as someone that has enough technical experience myself that I could take something apart and probably fix it in the end. I really enjoy moving my knowledge forward by watching someone just actually fix something.
Well, by reassembling things alone, you learn the ins and outs of that gadget, equipment, whatever it is you're working on. So it makes sense, if anything, to learn that way. The stuff I've broke over the years is frightening. It's often people think, you can make stuff look easy. The reality is you only learn when you break it, and you learn when it's cost you £400-500. And I'm a bit better these days at not breaking. I say I'm a bit better. I broke something about a month ago that Bruce was taking the mickey out of me for. But you learn to be a bit more methodical. But I started it, and it has changed a lot over the years. And part of the reason for that is I've always done a lot of the other stuff I'm doing now, but I didn't show it on the channel. So the channel sort of got pegged into a corner with YouTube in a certain way, in a certain type of content. And I'm trying to break, not away from it, but try and bring in some of this other stuff I've always done. I've always been doing it, but I never really brought it into the channel. And whereas it started as a drone channel, it is now shifting more towards an electronics channel. I do review some products. I only review stuff I would use myself. I don't sit here and go, that's good.
I want that latest thing to see what that's like. You guys will probably know this. I get hundreds of emails a week, and you get for all sorts. I got a shaver. Would you like to review this shaver? And you're just like, no, I'm not interested. I'm very careful what I pick and choose.
I actually had one last week for marital aids. And I emailed them back and said, how do you expect me to work that into a drones and tech channel? Which focuses a lot on drone news as well, actually. So how on earth do you expect me to work that in? So we do get some very bizarre ones. One of your very successful ones is actually the video on the chair you're sat in, isn't it? Actually,
it is, and the irony is, it had nothing to do with the channel. I bought the chair. It's get the shilling in for it.
I bought it with my own money, and I had problems. And the first thing I do whenever I have a problem is I go online and search, because the reality is you're never alone. Someone's had the same problem as you. There's no point spending 20 minutes staring at something trying to figure it out if someone else has already spent that 20 minutes staring at it and done it and put the information online.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I had a look, and what I realized was every review was positive. Every review was, this chair is fantastic, this chair is amazing. And what I suddenly realized was it was very much sponsorships, chairs being given away. And I'm not going to criticize creators for doing it. Like, everyone's we're all material girls in a material world, as Madonna put it. And I've been always very clear. I try to always put up front what, if I've been sent it, given it, lent it, bought
that's the best way to be.
And I bought the chair with my own money, 400 quid, and I had problems. And when I contacted them, they weren't very helpful. And I just thought, I'm going to talk about it. And it's been a very successful video. And the best part, though, is the comments from users going, thank God someone has said what I'm experiencing.
Exactly. Yeah.
And the funny thing is, I actually have affiliate links in that video for this chair, because of what I've said is, I'm going to tell you the info, warts and all, and you base your purchase decision on that.
Exactly.
And that's the only good way of doing it. But it was, it's a left ball video for my channel, completely off the.
But again, it shows every major YouTuber that I've ever spoken to or listened to speak about YouTube, especially in the drones and tech area, always says, if you can teach someone something, and that's what I do. I really appreciate about your channel is because it is that is what it's looking to try and do. It is looking to try and teach people something,
it's very transparent.
Which is,
and I
fantastic.
think that speaks volumes for people trusting you then, and trusting your knowledge and your review. Is that I being in the industry, content creator myself, I've been given things in the past and have been asked to make take photos wearing items or purchasing items, etc. And I find I don't get as much interaction on those things if they're gifted, because it's already one-sided, isn't it?
It is. And funny enough, Gerald and Dunn put a video out about this last night. He did a dedicated video on this. He's one of the camera channels, and he's been accused a lot of bias recently, and it's partly simply because one camera manufacturer, Sony, have been releasing so many cameras at the same time. And what they're doing is they're flooding the channels with content, and that's a marketing strategy, don't get me wrong, but it's then meaning people are saying, well, you're biased and things like that. It's a hard one. There is stuff I'm sent, and I try to be as open and honest about it. There's stuff I buy. I have no issue saying it's bad if it's bad. What I will do, though, is if a company sends me a product to look at and I'm not happy with it, I will speak to them first whether we go ahead or not.
Exactly, which is exactly what I normally do. And in actual fact, it is a tough decision to make, because you do have to decide which way to go. And Marcus Brownlee is one of my sort of inspirations as far as how to handle that kind of thing. And actually, I watched one of his videos recently where he talked about it and said, if you've got to sign something to say that you have to say nice things, don't sign it, don't do it. And actually, I turned down a very expensive drone within the last couple of weeks. A very expensive drone that I personally would never have dreamt of purchasing. One, because I'm not a commercial flyer, and my Navicair 2 is absolutely fine for me. But two, it's a lot of money, and I turned it down because the NDA said you're not allowed to say anything negative about it on video. And it's sort of actually, I already knew, even before I've got my hands on it, I know 3 or 4 things that I have an issue with that particular drone. And I just thought, well, I can't do it. But it's a hard thing to turn down, because
once your integrity is questioned, there's no point making videos anymore, is there?
No. And that's the funny thing. Okay, there's an argument to be said, if you sent something, you should say it is warts and all, and go for it. But you have to be realistic. If a company sends you something for free, if you're not happy with it, I won't talk about it. I just won't show the product. I'll send it back to them and say, this isn't good for me. Now, if they send it to me and they say, go for it, doesn't matter what you say, I'll do it. But I do think if something's sent, you have to play fair to a point, in the sense of, if they're going to send it to you, you say, look, I've had these problems. Are you aware of them? Do you have a solution? I want to talk about this in the video. if I go ahead, or if I'm totally unhappy, I just send it back. I'm not interested.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
There's no point making content for me on something I hate.
Yes,
It's just a waste of my life. And there are many YouTube channels out there that give you good and bad, and I think they're fantastic for that, because I'm not a review channel overall. My channel is about providing information to make people be able to either use a product better or can make a purchase decision that it's okay. It's not strictly out and out, this iPhone's better than this iPhone, or this iPad's better than that iPhone. And that's where you said earlier, Sean, it is different because it isn't a review. Now, I have fallen into the trap of it a little bit recently, because
it happens,
I do make 3 types of content. I have the content I make because I want to, which gets very little views. That's just the way it goes. But
I feel that pain. Yes.
Yeah, it has the niche people who want to see it. It goes down extremely well with those people, but the view numbers are very low.
Doesn't go any further.
Then you have the middle content, which is I know will get me 1,000 views in a couple of hours, or 2, 3, 4. It's interesting. It's your general DJI info. It's your general.
Lots of people searching for it. Exactly. Yeah.
But you're also up against all of the other fantastic channels as well out there. You know, I don't review new drones anymore. There is no point. When DJI, for instance, are setting products to the likes now of iPhondo, Casey Neistat, there's no point. For me, there really is no point.
I think there's also a line as well, isn't there? And you have to decide which side of the line you are. And I have no issue with the Big Eye Justines and things. No. And actually, I still watch her launch videos. Yeah. Because I know it's going to give me a very positive view on what's happening, and I know it's going to show me a very glitzy version, a Hollywood version of that product. But at least with her, you know what you're getting when you go into it. And perhaps for us, there are other smaller channels that I watch because I know they'll give me the warts and all, but perhaps a few weeks later. Just very quickly from the chat, Mark Lum, thank you very much for becoming a channel member and joining the Drone Club. I really do appreciate it. If you hit colon and start to type the word geek, you'll be able to see the special emojis that you're able to use in the live stream. And hi to everybody else that's out there. Peter Carroll, good to see you. Thomas Ariels, Coast to Coast Drones, hello Bill, good to see you, sir. Peter, hello sir, both Peters. Peter Demeistra, I've probably just killed your name there. And Peter Carroll, good to see you, and Love My Drones, hello as well. I really appreciate you all coming along. We've got some great stuff coming up, including Mr. Philip Koshat, one of our channel members, blowing something up, which is it's a video of him blowing something up. We're not going to go to him live blowing something up, just in case anybody thinks I'm putting any of our channel members in danger there.
Not putting them in a cannon and firing them out.
Exactly. Now, there's a link to Ian's, both Ian's channels in the description below. You'll want both of them because one of them has all of the content we've been talking about. The other one has the weekly live stream on there as well.
Yes.
Which is
that's just changed.
Talk a bit about the weekly live stream.
Yeah, I started this a little bit. It's funny enough. It's something it's funny. What I've done from the channel is everything I've ever income on the channel goes back into it. You know, I don't make any money off YouTube. I'm completely clear about that. And you know, at my level, you certainly could not live off it. Put it that way. But what I do is I tend to save everything I get in and then look at what I want to do. And over the last sort of year, I've been building up equipment to do certain things, set the studio up or workshop differently. And I started doing a Sunday night live stream, which has gone down very well. And it's a bit of a chat. I treat it as a chat with friends, really. You know, it's a chat with a couple of people. They generally give me a lot of abuse. That's how it goes, which is great. And it's just nice to I try to share my thoughts on the news. I have a bit of a rant about a few things. I try to keep it clean. And I did, especially on the main channel, because what I didn't want was any strikes or YouTube beginning to go, well, okay, there's swearing in that content. Absolutely. There isn't in that. And in the end, I've now decided to split it off into a separate channel. So as of 2 weeks ago, I've started a fresh channel. There was, I think, 100 subscribers, and Amazing. The live streams are going to stay there now. And the idea then is I can move that content over as pre-recorded content to the main channel later if I want to. Or and the reason for that is I just want YouTube. I don't want to make. I want something I can be a bit more looser on.
Yeah,
frankly, if I want to swear, I will swear.
There have been many channels which have had that success, and exactly as you say, it's because also some people go behind the membership thing with streams sometimes, so they can be a bit more like that as well. So it's a really good way of doing it, and the new channel is already growing, as you say. I'm a subscriber with the notification bell rung myself, and
so you're the one subscriber then. Thank you for that.
Indeed, I'm one of your lurkers. I'm also one of the lurkers on Gary's US News stream as well. I occasionally say hello in the chat, but it's one of those streams I love putting on in the background when I'm working and things like that, and just doing a bit of writing, etc. And I can hear it clicking away.
It's weird, we've got to 14,000 on the main channel, which is a miracle. I still don't know how that's happened.
It's well deserved.
It's a long slog. There are ways you can go out there, flood social media, and post on Facebook groups, and I could probably get it to 30,000-40,000 fairly quickly if I wanted to, but I want organic growth. I want growth of people who want to watch the content. As it is, if you're any big channel, they'll tell you if they get 10% of their subscribers watching, that's a high number. Most channels, it's less than 10% of your actual subscribers watch your content. So there's no point for me building up massive numbers that don't get me anywhere. So for me, it's organic growth of people who want to see the content. I had a goal of this year hitting 20,000, which was completely unrealistic. But
nothing wrong with the goal.
If we can hit 15, I'll be a happy man.
Nothing wrong with the goal at all.
No, not at all.
There's 100-foot thinking, and then there's Everest, and I think I poked Everest when I said that one.
There's nothing wrong with that. I'd like 1 million this year. I'm joking.
It's a funny one because, as I said, I don't really have a plan. I've funny enough, I watch, and I don't know about you guys, I watch a massive amount of YouTube. I don't watch TV anymore. I do not watch TV. The last program I watched on TV was the last series of Game of Thrones. That was the end of television for me.
That put you off TV forever, then, did it? It was
well, it was just there was nothing following it that I felt.
Yes.
And I fully moved into the social media world in the sense of, all streaming services and all of this. 90% of what I watch, no, more than that, 98% of what I watch is YouTube. I watch content that I want to see. I love my cameras, so I got 4 or 5 camera channels that I follow. I love gaming. I used to have a computer business many years ago. The funny thing is, actually, I'll quickly just say this. One of my biggest regrets is, I was building PCs. I had a computer shop for 8 years. And if I'd have just started something then, you just look at Linus now and how big Linus is and all of those channels.
Yes.
And I just look back at a missed opportunity of thinking, if I'd have just started back then, where could it have been today?
Oh yes, I've said that to myself many a time.
Lack of vision on my part.
Well, it's timing as well, and perhaps you wouldn't have stuck at it, or other things could have happened.
Yeah.
Moving on slightly, the other reason I wanted to have you on here is because you're a voice within the other live streams, etc., with US News and everything else as well. In terms of. And I wanted to touch briefly with you in terms of regulation in the UK, and where we're going, and what your thoughts are as far as positive or negative. My personal opinion is I'm looking forward to the EASA regulations being adopted in January. It sounds like it's actually going to happen this time, and I have my A2 CFC, so as a hobbyist, I feel like that's a nice qualification for someone of my level, especially when the new drones come out. So I'm very excited about it. But as an existing PFCO holder yourself, what are your thoughts about the regulations that are coming in?
There are 3 main issues, really. If you take, obviously, the PFCO originally started as what was it called originally? It wasn't actually the permission for commercial operation. It was called something else, and it's evolved over the years. For me, fundamentally, the EASA regulations are not bad. There's nothing terrible in the, it's not going to make everyone stop being able to work or things like that. But there are some major issues in it from a privacy point of view for commercial operators, specifically from the remote ID aspect, and some issues around what they're doing to existing commercial operators. So if we take number 1, the PFCO will cease to exist in 2 years.
Yes.
So the bit of paper that everybody's got and we've been using will become worthless. That means we've got to go back to a classroom for 3 days and do it all again. Cost is irrelevant. It's going to cost £1,000. That to a point, that doesn't matter. Okay, let's throw the monetary aspect aside. What's frustrating is you have a commercial operator who's potentially run a successful business for 5 years, and now you're treating him exactly the same as someone who walks in off the street.
Yes.
They've not put an upgrade path in, and they have no intention of putting an upgrade path to the GVC. They've replaced PFCO with the GVC. So, that's fundamentally the number one issue. Now, that's 2 to 3 years down the line. That's not today. What they have said is, at this moment in time, as long as you renew your PFCO by the end of this year, you will be able to continue to renew it until they decide otherwise.
Yes.
And then we've got the privacy issues around remote ID. Remote ID in itself isn't a bad thing. It's who's got access to that data. And if you take it as a commercial operator's point of view, the big issue is this. Within the remote ID specification, they are going to transmit all of your aircraft information. That includes height, heading, longitude, latitude, and more importantly, the ground station location, which is where you are on the ground. Now, as a commercial operator, you do something called a cordon. So you turn up to your flight site, which might be a field behind a bunch of houses, and there's a new property going up, and you've been asked to take pictures of that new property. So, as part of our ops manuals, we decide what security is necessary. Do I need to put barriers up when in a field on my own? No, there's no one else there. There's no livestock in the field. I can put a cone there and go, right, that's my landing point A. I can put a cone over there and go, that's my landing point B. If anything goes wrong, everything's good. The problem is with remote ID, what it's going to do is transmit open to any device with Wi-Fi your location. So whereas currently someone looks up in the sky and sees a drone following them, and they're not following them, but above a house, the house we're taking images of, because of perspective never really makes it look like where it really is. They'll go, that drone's following me. Currently, they'd either just phone the police or have a rant on Facebook. Now, with the new proposals, they'll be able to open their phone and go, he's standing in that field over there. Walk into the field and give you a load of abuse. Now,
but haven't they actually amended that to say that it's only going to be law enforcement that'll get the location?
There's nothing confirmed at this time. There's proposals
and also,
in place
how do you even do that? From an electronic point of view. And again, there's the old thing of people are techie, and if someone wants to find out if that Wi-Fi signal exists, no matter how much you put that behind a paywall or an encryption, people are going to be able to find that. So yes, it is. And I know in the States, over in the US, the remote ID is very much one of the potential rollouts. So it is a worldwide issue at the moment that a lot of people are very worried about.
If you look at this from so in that scenario, the person looks at it, climbs over the fence, comes to attack, have a go. So now, as a commercial operator, I can't just assume this area I have is going to be safe, because traditionally the chances of someone coming in a random field for no reason is extremely low. Now I have to take into account that someone could come and have a go. So actually, can I fly on my own anymore? In my head, I potentially think it could mean the end of single operator missions, because you have to be able to secure, and what people don't realize is you have a duty of care to them. I've probably been, when I say attacked, I don't mean physically, but verbally shouted at, screamed at more than most over the years. And they don't care what you're doing. They don't care about the aircraft. All they want to do is have a go at you, and as the pilot, you have a duty of care to ensure that aircraft is safe.
Absolutely.
You could be jumped, you could have your equipment stolen. So that's the concerns around remote ID, is the fact of they are transmitting everything to everyone. They always say it's like a car license plate. Yes, but your car license plate doesn't transmit your address as you drive past.
That's right. And
that's
exactly. It won't let that person follow you home unless they're right in traffic with you. But also, of course, there is the issue that it could create an issue as well. So if it is possible, and we're talking about around where it is possible for Joe Public to be able to find the location of a pilot, then of course that in itself could actually start creating an issue. So an issue that's not there at the moment. If people know they can find them, then that can become a popular thing in itself. And I know a lot of my stateside drone friends are concerned from the point of view of a security aspect of people knowing where they're flying their Inspire to and other equipment. And even the Mavic Air 2 is one guy in a field. If someone comes across and wanting to take that from them, it can be an issue. So I sincerely hope they do this across the globe, this side and stateside, I hope they get that right. It is one of the issues.
So what's the potential with the tracking then? Is it a live feed there
Yes.
and then, or is it everywhere you've been
Yes,
previously as well?
the idea, the absolute idea
Right.
of it, in as far as the ASA is concerned, and as far as and this is the part of it that me and Ian agree about and agree with, is that if a police officer or someone from the CIA or someone at an airport, so the appropriate security people say, okay, that drone shouldn't be there, or should that drone be there, they are able to bring up something that tells them, okay, that's this drone, it's registered to this person, they've, they're a PFCO holder and they're stood over here, so we'll go and have a chat with them. And therefore, straight away, you no longer have a situation where the whole airport has to shut down, and actually you go across and you end up finding out the drone is half a mile further away than you thought it was. And actually the guy is there perfectly legally with permissions and OSCs and everything else like that. The issue, of course, is that if anybody can access that information, what can happen with that?
And if you look, we all now in the UK have a drone database. We've all had to register our aircraft. So all we need to do is transmit our registration ID. And that data then is accessible by law enforcement, just like your car. If you're accused of something in your car, someone says, this reg number hit me. They won't tell you who it was, but the police will investigate it themselves because they can get that data. And that's all we want. The concern right now is that what they want to do is give everything to everyone. And that's where the big issues are here.
No, exactly. I was quite annoyed, actually, when you talk about drone registration, and we're obviously talking about the PFCO as well this evening, that the lack of communication between the CAA and PFCOs themselves when all of that happened was very frustrating. And to this day, I'm in a few of the PFCO groups for sponsorship reasons and other reasons on Facebook, and to this day, I find it amazing that these guys, as you say, have been running successful businesses for 5 years, and flown their drones all over the country, and many TV series have their footage in, etc. They're high-end guys, and even they are still going on Facebook to say, so what do I need to do about this, and what do I need to do about that, which I think is ridiculous.
It's been the same forever. There was a change 2 years ago where they removed that. There used to be a 7 and 20 kilo weight limit, and used to take your PFCO based on one of the two weights, depending on your aircraft. So if you took it on a below 7 kilo, you could only fly up to 7 kilo. Bit like the automatic and a manual car scenario, if you get my drift. And that got removed overnight, and they also allow people to fly night ops as well. And again, the CAA they do a fantastic job overall, but they're very bad at communicating that. And, the situation we're in today, there was a massive argument about this the end of the last year, which I was involved in, which I got tipped off a bit of information up front before pretty much anyone else. I get a message saying, and this was when they delayed the initial introduction, because you have to remember this was meant to have come in on the 31st of March this year.
Yes, absolutely. And then the 1st of July, and then, yes.
Yeah. And I got tipped off by someone I know, can't say any more than that it was being delayed. And it was tipped off in the sense of, you might want to put this out there. And I had kickback from PFCOs, from many REs or NQEs as they were. You're wrong, until 4 hours later with the statement come out, which was the statement from Grant Chapp saying this was all potential, and it was all to do with the fact that we might even leave EASA and all of that nonsense as well.
Yes, the famous interview.
But it's a classic example of the information doesn't get disseminated very, very well. We're in a situation now, potentially this all comes into force the end of this year. I have my opinion, and that is this isn't going to happen this year. Okay, that's my opinion. That's based on what's happening in the world today, and based on more whispers.
Exactly. I mean, and we both get our whispers, and I only think it will probably happen because of a couple of conversations that I've had. But again, we've seen systems and government departments disappear overnight because someone changes their mind. So just because things are ready behind the scenes doesn't mean something's going to happen. No. So it's
the aircraft wise, I'm not expecting to see the first C-class aircraft for at least another 12 months.
I agree with that, because the manufacturers will want to see everything fully in place. I actually think we'll start to see them towards the end of the legacy 2-year period, and then we'll start to see some of them coming out at that point.
Which is frustrating for you because you've done the A2
COFC. Although the A2 with my Mini and with my Air 2 is, I'll still be happy to be able to fly in congested areas, frankly.
So technically, you can fly up to a 4-kilo aircraft in the C2 C1 or C2. It's been a while since I've looked at that sheet. But as you say, they don't exist yet, and that's the problem. Exactly. Okay, you got transitional as well, which is below a kilo, I think it is off the top of my head. But yeah, it's frustrating because you've got guys who've gone out and done the COFCs right now, and they're ticking down. The A2s are timing down because you've got a renewal every 2 years. Is it, Sean?
5 years.
Oh, 5 years. Sorry.
Yes.
So, so it's a poor state of affairs overall, but the problem is the CAA themselves often don't know anymore.
That's right, and
driven by legislation, which is driven by government, which is driven by ministers.
Exactly. You throw the grenade of Brexit in there because it's like my A2 CFC qualification, which of course is supposed to be an EASA European-wide qualification to allow me to fly my drone in France, Germany. It's the CAA UK A2 CFC. It's not actually an EASA qualification. So because of Brexit, etc. So it's going to be lots of complexities to sort out further down the line. So it's going to be very interesting.
It's a tough time. Commercial operators have had it very tough. Okay, look, pretty much everyone's been shut down for the last 6 months. Okay, some carried on, and there was a lot of arguments around that, whether they should have or not. And absolutely, if you could continue to work through the current situation, you should. And now we're coming out of that, and we're seeing the realities of the world we've all found ourselves in, and it's going to continue to be a tough time for everyone as well. And there was a flood of people entered the drone industry. Unfortunately, the magic pot of gold isn't at the end of the rainbow, as it's not sold sometimes.
Exactly. Right, okay. Well, I want to thank you so much for joining us tonight, Ian.
No
I
problem.
really do appreciate it. One of the reasons I brought you on is because you don't agree with everything that I say, and I know you're the same. That actually. Those are the important conversations to have with people, not just having lots of people on there. Oh, I love you, Sean. No, I love you, Ian. Which of course we do love each other, but having forms of disagreement and then talking about those forms of disagreement, I think is something that will help the drone industry and will help the drone hobby moving forward. So thank you so much for coming along and seeing us this evening. I really do appreciate it.
No problem at all. I really appreciate the invite as well. I hope you guys stay safe.
Enjoyed a familiar accent.
Yes. Yes. So if any of our American listeners, unfortunately, we couldn't get the Welsh English to English subtitles working this evening.
Yeah. If I go into Swansea, shemai butt, no one will really know what I'm saying at all, will they? So
that's cracking.
Very good.
How's it going, all right?
There's a link in the description to both of Ian's channels. Please go and check them out. You'll need both to get the main content and the awesome live stream as well. And thank you so much, sir. And
no problem at all. Stay safe, and I'm going to jump on and carry on watching. See you soon.
Thank you.
Take care of yourself.
I got to try and figure out how to get off first.
I have a big button actually, which will remove you. There you go. Fantastic guy, Ian. And as I say, it's so important to highlight some of the channels out there which aren't just the same and samey. Nothing wrong with anybody's channel out there at all. But when I do find the ones which offer something a little bit different, it's nice to see. You're just adjusting your camera there because that's my fault. I'm afraid it's not actually your fault. Because we need to get. Hang on, let me adjust it so we get like that. So we get a bit more Yoda, and then we do this. Just please hold, audience, while I play around with Lib's camera so we can get Baby Yoda in. There we go. We've got to have a bit of Baby Yoda in or a Baby Yoda in the picture. Just very quickly checking in with the chat. Apologies, obviously, when the guest is in, it's a little bit harder to keep up with everybody. I've seen some very existential comments coming in there. Yes, thank you. Great to see you, Andy L. Smeghead, Mike Drennan, Chris Hope, hello, sir. Jackson, RC Aviation, Eber, FPV, Global Drone. Some fantastic names in here. It's great to see everybody coming along and joining us. We really do appreciate it. We cannot tell you just how much. Well, we can, and I just did.
It's nice to see so many familiar faces. We were talking about this earlier before the show started.
Yes.
It's nice to recognise.
Hi, JSK.
I say see familiar faces.
I say in my comments names. when someone leaves a comment on the channel, I say it's great to see you. and which took me a little while to get used to, but it's how I say it, so I don't mind.
That's it.
Of course, I'm not seeing
essentially
them.
You are imagining their face matching with the name, aren't you? So
yeah, exactly. Just a reminder for members, after the show, we're going to be doing a quick members meetup to say hello to anyone that's got time to pop in. We'll be putting the Zoom link in the community tab as soon as the show run thing starts to as soon as the credits start to roll. Yeah. Okay, Lib, would you like to have a drink and take a breath and watch a quick video?
I don't think I've talked enough to have a breath.
Yes, but you've been listening to me.
Yeah, I'm exhausted.
Which means you probably need to have a lie down,
Crack
really.
on.
Yeah. Would you like to see Philip Koshat blow some stuff up?
Oh my God, yes.
Here we go.
It looks like those what are those things called? Those, you can get them in a tube and it has the paint bombs, obviously.
Yes, that's right. Yes, Chris hoped it was tannerite, which seems to be, because people are realizing you can buy the ingredients on Amazon. Seems to be becoming more and more of a popular thing in the stateside. So people put tannerite in their videos.
You can buy that on Amazon.
In the States, you can buy the bits that make it up. Yes, I don't
course
think you can here actually. Of course,
of course you can.
Yes, I mean, and that's something I always have to describe actually to American friends, is that we're not gun carriers, we don't blow things up as much and that type of thing. So I live vicariously through people like Philip Koshat.
Yes,
absolutely fantastic. Mike Drennan asking, was it a gender reveal? That's quite funny.
Yeah, it was a Simpson.
Yeah, it was a Simpson.
Just let everyone know.
Wah, wah, wah. Very good. Wah, wah, wah. Okay, just a couple of quick announcements with regards to the channel. We are switching to streaming once a week. Obviously, at the moment, we've been doing once a fortnight, but we're going to once a week. I say we, it won't be this fantastic lady co-hosting.
I get the day off.
She does get the day off indeed. If I can find my button here we go. It is actually going to be a new show called Drones and Tech, which is going to be hosted by myself and Stephen Sutton, who you've seen in the chat as the Flyby Guys. He was a guest on the channel a few weeks back as well. It's going to be the same time, 10 p.m. UK, 5 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be called Drones and Tech, and guess what it's going to be about? Can you guess what the show's going to be about?
Finger puppets.
Yes, finger puppets.
See, I knew that.
But yes, it's still going to be mainly about drones, but we're going to have a bit of tech in there as well. In the next episode, we're going to be talking a bit about the new Microsoft Xboxes that are coming out, and a couple of the Amazon Echo devices, etc. And I'll be showing my collection of Xboxes, which I have every Xbox.
Collection of?
I've got a collection. I've got Microsoft Xboxes in glass cabinets, including my Star Wars Xbox 360, which is the main console is a R2D2, and when you press the on button, it goes doo-doo-doo-doo-doo.
Okay, kind of.
And then the controller is golden for C3PO.
C3PO. Oh, I'm so excited. I said this. I remember when you told me this. I'm so excited you're working with Steve.
It's going to be incredible, isn't it?
It's going to be so good.
Yeah, and for anybody who doesn't remember, you can go back and watch the interview we had with him. But Stephen is a professional drone pilot based in Finland. He has got what Lib describes as the perfect Scottish accent.
Perfect.
Absolutely
perfect. I can understand him, but he's still got the twang. That's the perfect level.
It's awesome. He's got a fantastic voice and face for radio.
Yes.
I said that when I looked like this. And yeah, so he's a professional flyer over in Finland. He's going to be bringing a wealth of content to that particular show as well, while we see what's how things develop. But it will be a bit of fun, a different type of show, so that we can bounce between the two shows on a weekly basis, which I'm really looking forward to. And just to show you the types of thing that Stephen gets up to, I've got a little video to play here of where he recently flew at a stadium. And actually, if the link is in the description for his channel. If you go to his channel, it's actually got the explanation of how he got permissions and that type of thing. But we've got the cool bit here, the drone flight. How awesome was that?
Yeah, to be fair, the transitions are so smooth, though, aren't they? You can't fault them.
And hi, Stephen. I see you're in the chat there, the flyby guys. Good to see you. So looking forward to next week, everyone. So are we.
I'll be watching and I'll be interacting.
Oh, pressure. You'll have the pro co-host watching you, Stephen. So
it's not you, Steve. I'm worried about. That's why I watch.
I'm so nice to you. I'm always polite, nice to you. You know, I don't know what more I have to do, but there we go. I'm just a boomer, aren't I? In the eyes of all you youngers, all you youngins.
I don't know what I am.
Oh, you youngins. I don't think you're a boomer.
No, I'm not a boomer. What am I?
You must be a millennial.
94.
I think that's just pre-millennial, isn't it?
I'm not sure.
Anybody in the chat wants to look up what 1994 counts Lib as? I'll be very happy if it's boomer. No, I'm joking. It won't be boomer.
Yeah, I think boomers. I don't think you're a boomer though, Sean.
No, I'm not. No, I'm only a boomer in the PewDiePie sense of how he calls anyone over 20 a boomer, basically.
Who's that?
You don't know who PewDiePie is? No.
Should I?
I can see you laughing. I know.
No, I actually don't. Should I?
The single largest YouTuber with over 106 million subscribers.
No.
Okay.
Is he like a gamer or something? I'm guessing.
He's wacky. He does everything from gaming to silliness, and he's had a lot of controversy over the years. You should go and watch some of his stuff because he actually does some very good videos on philosophy as well. He's big into the Greek philosophers. He's got some very diverse content.
A YouTuber being into philosophy?
Mm.
What?
He's a very rich man from YouTube. So I'm blown away that you don't know who that is. And actually, that does make you sound like a boomer, frankly.
Yeah.
Okay, on to some drone news. We've been hearing, obviously, over in the States, Walmart and different people testing out drone delivery. But what has brought it home to me, I don't know about you, Liv, but what's brought it home to me is Tesco are going to be trialling drone delivery. Tesco. That's like real.
How does that even happen?
Well, I'm going to show you a little video in a moment, which shows you the company they're using, Mana Aero, and exactly how they do deliver things. But they're going to be running from one of their stores, which is it's the Oranmore store in County Galway, over in Ireland. And they're going to be basically delivering essentially small baskets of goods, not in a basket. The way the press release was worded, it says the drones will deliver small baskets of goods to the local area. And I'm expecting this little basket to be swinging on the bottom of the
those birds that bring babies in,
like a stork, exactly that. exactly. Now Mana have a very successful record. They've been doing medical supplies and trials in Ireland, and they've been doing extremely well, taking needed medicine from main hospitals out to more remote areas and that type of thing, which is fantastic. So we'll play that in a moment. Elsmeghead, £5 super chat. Thank you, sir.
Oh, dude, thank you.
That's a message for you. That 1994, I was already divorced and homeless by then, with a smiley face. That's what I love about Andy, is that there's a smiley face at the end of it.
Yeah, it was.
Bless you, Andy. In 1994, I had just left school.
Really?
Like senior school, high school.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was out in the world.
I left a swimming school, but it wasn't an educational school at 94. It was a different kind of swimming school.
Oh, that's very good. We do have some more comedy from Liv later, because I'm going to embarrass her by playing some of her TikToks.
Jesus, I thought we got away with that.
But let me play the video of the Tesco's delivery drone.
I know.
There we go. What do you think? Are you impressed?
Controversial, I guess, but I think it's an absolute waste of technology. I'm not going to lie. Absolutely, what a ridiculous idea.
Awesome. If there weren't delivery drones, it would be very popular within the hobby.
Well, I've seen delivery drones.
Exactly. Mike Drennan is saying exactly your point, actually.
Yeah. I agree that they're an amazing format in which to deliver things. Like they deliver blood to like countries and things like that. I've seen that happen, and that's what it should be used for.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I suppose there's the ecological side of things, that obviously it's going to save on lots of van journeys and that sort of thing. One that I saw which was quite clever is UPS were developing what's called the final mile drone, where the UPS van would drive to the housing development or council estate or whatever it is, and it would park in the middle, and the little drone would come out the top and drop off the parcels to the final mile, which of course is saving a lot of, it's saving the environment and that type of thing and that sort of. But it's, but one of the issues I have is obviously they pick the child up with the drone coming down.
Yeah.
It's like, what if there's a problem with the drone? What if that drone is dropping something by wire? What if someone comes and pulls on that wire before it releases and things? And there's a lot of security issues to me there as well.
Right, from where I come from, let me just put it this way: no one on my street is going to be standing outside waiting for their shopping to come. They get their head kicked in. And it's oh.
Yeah, there are a wealth of issues.
Though. Is it the advert that's made it look? What's the word? Like flimsy. It looks very flimsy.
Yeah, because again, I mean that's their original advert, which has been out for about 12 months. So I think the newer mum will hopefully be a bit sturdy, although that is still the drone pictured in the press releases. So it looks like it's going to be the one that's used. But yeah, it's a very interesting thing because there's a lot of panic about drone delivery in the hobby because, of course, if these things do happen, it's going to restrict where we can fly.
Of course.
But, there are so many hurdles that they've got to get over, so many problems. I mean, if you think it's a problem trying to deliver something in Wales or in Surrey, what about in the States where these things will just get shot out the sky when they're hovering, they're ready, and someone's got themselves a 50K drone.
I think it's a good idea in the sense of like medical supplies and in return that gives it a positive look. It's more engaging that you see something in the sky that's there to help you.
Totally.
When you have something dropping off a bottle of wine to your next door neighbour at 3 o'clock in the morning, it's not exactly
yes indeed. And
what
in
you want
actual
to put
fact,
that technology towards.
the BBC's coverage did bring up the fact that when they tested in Canberra in Australia, it was either Starbucks or it was one of the very large coffee chains who tested out there, and they were getting people's coffee to them in like 10 minutes. And it actually had to stop early due to noise complaints. The trial had to stop early because people were just so annoyed by it and it was causing so many legitimate issues. Because again, even at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, if something's landing next door to you and you're a night shift worker, you're a nurse working nights and you're trying to get a bit of kip of a lunchtime, then it's not the best thing to see. As simple as that.
No, I think like any form of technology.
In fact, sorry, XJet. Hi, XJet. Good to see you. Bruce has just said the same thing, that Google Wing got complaints due to noise in Australia, and it is exactly as I was just saying, which actually stops that trial. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, I just think there's good ways and bad ways at anything with your mobile phone, with your computer. There's good ways to use it. There's bad ways to use it. And I think, considering all the backlash you guys have for using drones, is that the best way for now to use it? I mean, I'm only talking temporarily. It's so far off as well,
though. It's so far off. It really is so far off. It's and because again, I relate it sometimes to the evolution of the autonomous car. Obviously, Tesla is one of those, which was really going at a pace, and we felt like we were only a year or two off seeing them on especially the US highways being piloted autonomously. However, tragedy has struck and there have been accidents and deaths, etc., and that's really halted that process back. And I think that's going to happen with delivery drones. Once more and more trials happen, we're going to see more and more failures and more issues that I think will probably set it back significantly. Because as I think it was Coast to Coast said in the chat, that what happens when you're delivering to apartment buildings and that type of thing. I know that places like Helsinki, because there's rivers both sides of the city, that's being seen as a good one for drone delivery. So I think I think it was Ken Heron that said on one of his streams that actually it is he sees it as in perhaps some of the big cities you'll see it sort of saving time when it literally does take that delivery driver 45 minutes to cross town or something. Then you can see some benefit there, but I don't see it as a wider thing.
I think it's got potential, but delivering food is not.
Extra just put there, drone delivery is all hype. Nothing matches the cost effectiveness of a teenager on a moped.
Hey, that's true. I was one of them.
Were you really?
Sense. Yeah.
Oh wow! What did you deliver?
Leaflets.
Leaflets. Ah, do you know I was a leaflet deliverer when I was 15 years of age.
Yeah.
And to any millennials watching, leaflets were these Instagram posts that we used to have on paper that were printed off, and we put them through people's doors, and that was the only way of sometimes getting your message across. Although they weren't selfies of me in a bikini, they were things of people's businesses and that type of thing. I'm sounding like a boomer now.
Yeah, and I had paper delivery services. See, paper delivery for elderly, things like that. That makes sense to me. Someone going outside for a Ben and Jerry's, come on.
So you see like a correlation of loss of worthiness almost, for the fact of why are we getting to the point where we can't wait for our Ben and Jerry's, or we can't go for a nice walk and grab our Ben and Jerry's. That's frustrating you, because that's interesting
for those who can't access. Obviously, working in the sector I work in, I could see that being put to use for those who can't access the pharmacy and things like that. Takeaway though, come on.
Yeah, it seems I mean, I get excited about the tech. I'm like, cool drones, but of course,
the tech side of it isn't like, it's impressive. I'm not, and
indeed those drones are used for the medical trials over in Ireland as well, which as we both agree was absolutely fantastic.
Absolutely incredible.
So, yes, Matt from Mr. MPW was just explaining that he had a conversation with Amazon where he was explaining he's going to stop them and take all the bits out, all the parcels out, which they weren't impressed with. I can understand that. I can see why they wouldn't be too impressed by that. Okay, would you like to see another short video?
Yes.
We have this is a short video clip, video clip. What other kind of clip would it be? Of the effects that the wildfires in America are having across San Francisco. And this was taken by a drone pilot who very kindly allowed us to share it out. Have a look at this. And again, I'm told that there are no filters or color coding on this at all. Shocking, isn't it?
I can't believe that's daytime.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? It's absolutely mind blowing to see how things look like that. It's obviously, it makes a stunning video, and actually one of the clips that another drone pilot got, they put the Blade Runner music to it actually as a bit of sort of.
I was going to say it looks like a apocalypse movie.
Yes, exactly, very dystopian looking thing.
Wow.
Okay, just a bit of information for anyone who is enjoying the show and enjoys the channel. You might like to become what we call a channel member. And here we have a little bit more information of what that involves. And look, Lib, you're there as well.
There I am.
Yes. So channel members for your monthly fee, you get to come behind the curtain a little bit more and see a bit more behind the scenes and have a little bit more exclusive content. As you can see across the bottom of the screen, there are the exclusive emojis that channel members get to enjoy. Which, if you are a channel member, if you type colon then type in the word geek, it will show you all of the family of emojis you can enjoy there. But we also have some other exclusive content just for members, including a members meetup, which of course is happening after the show this evening. Look forward to seeing anybody who can make it. We also had Lib's first drone flight.
My God, that was a nightmare, wasn't it?
Which was, I think it was extremely successful. And we even had a scared hubby, Luke, ducking for cover at one point there, which was awesome.
I did that deliberately as much. Well, the first time I didn't, and then the second time I was like, let's see how close I can get.
I'm aiming for him now. We also do lots of behind the scenes stuff in there as well. And this week I've put up the first members podcast, which was actually posted yesterday, and that's going to be a regular video podcast to have a chat with people and to really get across what's happening in the on the channel, but also just talk about what's going on in the drone world and that type of thing. So you can hit the join button below for more details of that. It plays a funny little video of me saying hello.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us. And also for anyone that's interested, why wouldn't you be? You can support my co-host Lib. If you search for libmarie_x on TikTok and Instagram, there's also links in the description which takes you through to both of those. Shall we embarrass Lib a little bit now by playing some of her awesome TikToks? Which I say embarrass only because when something you put out there for the world to see is suddenly thrown back at you, it's never that comfortable, is it?
Face, to be
it's
fair.
A bit ooh.
It's
as people will know, I'm a big fan of Libs on TikTok, and I have to say your game is really going up to the next level at the moment, and
I've started doing my own audios and things like
really do. Yeah, it really do make me laugh. The one, unfortunately, I can't play a lot of them because of copyright issues with the audio.
Yeah.
But you have to go and see Lib's impression of a chicken. It's mind blowing.
I'll post it on my Instagram for those who can't follow me on TikTok.
It's absolutely mind blowing. But yes, go and follow on both, and you know, whilst TikTok's around for the Americans, that is, of course.
Yeah.
So let's have a look at one of Lib's short TikToks now.
So guys, what's the facial expression you do in public places so that you look really mean and unfriendly so random men don't just like start talking to you? This is mine.
That still makes me laugh.
That audio was using a load of people were doing their normal sort of, I think they call it the resting face.
Yes.
And I was like, well, I wouldn't do that.
It's late enough.
Yeah, resting bitch face. Sorry, mum. But I actually thought, well, what do I normally do? Well, I actually just pull a face that no one will ever want to approach me with again, and I use my flexible neck to do that.
Fantastic. Now this is one of the ones which is from your Jim Carrey catalogue, because of course one of the reasons a lot of people are attracted to Lib's TikTok is her facial comedy, which is really, really funny. Yes, Agent K, you can say bitch too.
They'll rebel
you rebel. And here's one of your Jim Carrey videos, which I found very funny.
Excuse me, I need a spoon. It's okay, I found one.
Brilliant.
That took ages to do.
I'm not surprised. You know, for such short videos as well. I think some people don't realise that with TikTok, that these videos are so short because, of course, you know that is the platform.
Yeah.
But it takes quite a lot of work to get these things down, and the transitions.
It took forever because I had to stop, and then as I was like, I put the spoon in my mouth. And then I tried not to change position.
Yes.
Press start again, waited for it, and it just wasn't matching up. So in the end, the backdrop that has that black line down it, I was like, right, my hairline matches that black line, so I'll stand there, and I know I've always got to stand in this position. It took me about 2 hours to do.
Fantastic.
And then in the end, I was just like, why did I bother? The stuff I do.
But hey, it made me laugh. Does that count?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Me and thousands of others, of course. But yes.
Yeah.
And here's one last TikTok that I've picked from Lib's recent library, which I think everyone will enjoy.
So all I ever see in men's calendars or men's magazines is chicks in their underwear or naked, lounging about all around things men like. Chick lying on a tyre, attractive. Victoria's Secret model riding a motorbike in her undies, no problem. But if I do it, I get, Lib, get off my PlayStation, you're overheating the thing, and put some clothes on. I mean, I guess it's false advertisement. I don't know.
It's true though. It's true. If you see some chick in a car place straddling a tyre, you'd be pushing her off, wouldn't you? Like,
fortunately, it's starting to become a lesser thing, isn't it? It's not as, but I know exactly what you mean.
Well, I haven't said this to anyone yet, but we have decided to make a calendar. We are doing a calendar for. I'm going to put some money towards the charity Mind because it's quite close to my heart. I'm going to recreate all of these iconic calendar girl scenes, but in my own very funny. There will be no
brilliant.
They will be clothes.
Yes,
but
this is a comedy calendar.
It will be a comedy calendar,
not a TNA calendar.
No,
Brilliant.
No.
I think that's a fantastic idea. Well done. I really look
Yeah.
forward to that, and we will obviously be selling that on the channel to
Yeah, okay.
support it as much as we humanly possibly can. It's absolutely fantastic idea. Okay, well, that basically brings us to the end of the
Yes.
show. I want to thank everybody for sticking with us. We've had a great audience in tonight, and it's something which is of huge personal pride to see everyone that comes in to say hi to us, and to see the chat moving and everyone enjoying themselves. I really do appreciate it.
It's been nice to actually relax and chat with the guys while obviously you two get into the more technical side of things, but that's what I'm here for.
Nip free, I like that. That's such a great word. It's nip free. 100% nip free. Excellent. Well, again, thank you everybody for joining us. I really do appreciate it. Again, libmarie_x, and hit the subscribe button, notification for Geeksvana as well.
Yes, come on.
And I will see you all next week. Not in 2 weeks' time, but next week. But we've also got some fantastic pre-recorded content coming up in the meantime as well. So keep an eye out on the channel for all of that.
And it's not too late to become a member to come and chat with us after the show, mind.
Yes, you can hit the join button below, and then if you go to the community tab, you will see a Zoom link which you can click and come in and have a chat. Some people join us just on audio, some people just join in the background to have a listen, or come in and tell me how awful the show is and how wonderful Lib is. You know, it's up to you. Okay, guys, see you next time.
Bye.